Hey guys, first regardsman here, and today I'll be talking about the Multi-Melta versus the Heavy Plasma Incinerator in Space Marine 2 patch 8.1. Now these are the two best guns in the game in my opinion. I don't even really think that's a hot take. I think most people really agree that these weapons are really only in competition for each other in overall impact. Previously in my weapon tier list that I posted a few days ago, I did say the Heavy Plasma Incinerator was the overall best gun in the game, but I think my opinion has shifted on this slightly after playing more Siege mode on hard and trying to push some of the higher waves that the Multi-Melta is better overall, especially for Tyranids, because the Multi-Melta has a max hit limit per shot of 40, whereas the Heavy Plasma Incinerator has a max hit limit of 20 on its charge shot and a max hit limit of 5 on its light shots. Like after 5 enemies get hit with a light shot, it doesn't do any more damage. So Multi-Melta is just getting more value per shot on like a huge horde of enemies. It also does more stagger against things like lictors, and it can be hard in Tyranid hordes to like properly get off a charge shot even with the rate of fire variant. And the Heavy Plasma Incinerator is like really stuck on using like the rate of fire because you can't really take his magazine capacity variant, because if you do, your charge shots are going to come out so slow that you're just not going to get charge shots off versus Tyranids and like even Chaos at times. And the Multi-Melta also has the added benefit of that we can actually take the magazine capacity variant, because even though rate of fire is pretty absurd, it's pretty ammo inefficient compared to this one. And with perks like the heavy fire, which is while in heavy stance, fire rate increases by 15%, and then the even better perk here, which is Executioner's Fire. After a finisher, fire rate increases by 25% for 5 seconds. These really enable your fire rate to like kind of catch up to the rate of fire variant while keeping you very ammo efficient, especially with perks like Auxiliary Reload. And this weapon, I think the best thing about this weapon, besides like the fire rate and ammo efficiency, is that it has the perk here, Trickshot. Killing 5 enemies with 1 shot restores 1 armor segment. Cooldown is 30 seconds. Now this perk is amazing. Free armor restores in Space Marine 2 are very meta, and you might think like, oh, I only get 2 armor per minute from this, so like what's the point? Well, it's free, and all armor in this game is basically just a value machine for damage reduction, because any amount of armor remaining will take down all melee hits that you receive to 0, even from bosses. It also has damage caps versus things like ranged enemies, and really the things that kill you in Space Marine 2 often stagger you in a way that, say like a melee Terminator comes at you, you have no armor, he hits you with an unblockable, you are now in like a staggered state. It is very hard to shoot back at him because your eyes get back up or something, and you're being shot at by a soul cannon Terminator. You're at like 20% HP, you have to fire off desperately to get back your contested HP, but if you had an armor for the initial hit, you would have taken 0 HP damage. You have then proc perks like Conviction for more health damage reduction on top of that, so even more value, more synergy, and you can now fire back at him and you'll be taking less damage overall while you fire back at him from like any ranged enemies firing upon you. So it's just super valuable. Armor also has damage caps versus things like heavy plasma from the Hellbrutes at times. Not like their supercharged shot that like leaves an AoE on the ground. By their normal shots, they do get blocked by armor to some extent, and also the damage caps on armor do stay there throughout like the entire game, even the highest waves of siege mode where the enemies do more damage. So armor is just really good. And I'll be honest guys, I just slept on how good armor was for a long time because it's just free damage reduction, and sometimes that damage reduction comes out to 100% damage reduction from something that might even one-shot you or like stun lock you into a ranged attack. So if perks like Focus Restoration, even prior to their buff to 30 seconds instead of 40, are still very valuable, and they just come out to like hundreds of armor for you over the course of the game. So like a 30-second cooldown is long, but when you stack it on top of everything else your character already has for armor restoration, like the restoration perk and perks like Conviction to trigger in synergies, Trickshot is just very good. And weapon perk tree armor restores are super meta for that reason, because they're basically free, and killing 5 enemies with 1 shot, this gun does that all the time, because the Multi-Melta really is just that kind of weapon. Now, as far as the variants for this gun go, I do want to say that like one of the major benefits of the Heavy Plasma Incinerator and Multi-Melta, or should say the Multi-Melta over the Heavy Plasma Incinerator, is that you are able to take the magazine capacity version, because unlike the Heavy Plasma Incinerator, this gun is just more ammo efficient. Every single shot is full value. The Heavy Plasma Incinerator needs to charge up its shots to get the maximum value out of its hits, or I should say its damage, and it only has 1 ammo restoration perk with Adamant Restoration, which is when your health drops below 30%, your ammo reserve is restored by 25% of the maximum capacity, cannot exceed maximum ammo capacity, cooldown is 30 seconds. This perk is is good, but it requires you to get smacked up. Meanwhile, the Multi-Melta has perks like Elite Restoration, which is killing a Majora's level or higher enemy, restores 10% of your maximum ammo reserve, cannot exceed maximum ammo capacity, cooldown is 30 seconds, and Decisive Reload, performing a finisher on Majora's level or higher enemy with this weapon restores ammo by 1. So this one just has ammo restoration perks that are built into your gameplay loop, on top of just benefiting the full value of every single individual shot off of things like Auxiliary Reload. I don't want to say like the Heavy Plasma Incinerator is horrible for ammo, because in the later waves of Siege, it is good. It's just you are completely stuck in using the rate of fire variant like we talked about before, that the magazine capacity version is just going to be way too slow at charging up shots. So you just have to take this one. Your ammo is going to be worse. And it is an ammo efficient gun at like later waves, just not remotely as much as the Heavy Plasma, or excuse me, the Multi-Melta, because the Multi-Melta just is like the most ammo efficient gun this class has, which is just kind of hilarious. It's so ammo efficient that you actually do not need to take the multi-kill perk here, which is killing 5 or more enemies with one shot from a Multi-Melta, restores ammo by 1. In the duo that Zambit and I did, we took the Multi-Melta all the way to wave 32, and we decided like the Multi-Melta really is just better for pushing because it has a faster clear rate, it hits more enemies, it is able to blast through guys. The only thing that we might take the Heavy Plasma for these days is like versus chaos against bosses, because like I said before, this gun is better for boss damage, and boss damage is very important in the siege mode because triple boss spawns do cut down your timer significantly because they take forever to kill. So Heavy Plasma is good for that. We might try it out in like a proper trio with like a tactical or something, because being able to get your charge shots off will likely be easier in a 3-man team than a 2-man team. But for now, we do agree that Multi-Melta is probably the best in the game. It's just because it has a higher max hit limit, it has more stagger, it is easier to get back your contested HP on because it's an instantaneous shot. The light attacks of the Heavy Plasma Incinerator are not terrible for getting back contested HP, they're just not quite as good as the Multi-Melta, and every single shot from your Multi-Melta is giving out full DPS no matter what, so you don't have to charge it or anything. That's the main reason this weapon is probably better. And like, let's be real, its boss damage isn't like epic, but it's not terrible. It's probably the worst versus like Neurothropes, but this gun really is just kind of cracked, and I don't think that's a hot take. Like, Multi-Melta, you just go burr. It's a very easy to use weapon. You just sit in the face of an enemy and click your button, and the only real skill cap on the Heavy to begin with is like dodging and your balanced parry window and dropping at your Heavy stance. And once you're able to do that, all of his guns are quite easy to use, and he really is just that guy. Absurdly tanky, absurd damage reduction, absurd ability to dish out damage on top of things like cycling into Melta-Bombs. He is just the best component of any team when it comes to horde clearing or wave pushing, and others for like the damage, because DPS is everything in siege mode, and he just pairs well with all the other classes. And for the purposes of wave pushing, I do currently think the Multi-Melta is better. Maybe I'll make an updated tier list. I know on my tier list I did leave out the Instigator Bull Carbine on accident. My bad. I noticed after I recorded the video, and I was like, alright, well, I ain't recording that again, but I'll make another one. I will probably update it. I'll probably put this one in S tier, like SS+. A little over the Heavy Plasma Incinerator, but I just want to be very clear, it is hard to go wrong with both these guns because they are just the two strongest guns in Space Marine 2. I just think the Multi-Melta, for the reasons I've listed in this video, ever so slightly edges out the Heavy Plasma Incinerator. And honestly, for a lot of players, this one's just way easier to use. It's also easier to use on controller because it's just, you know, you just point click, you have to aim jack shit. This one, you do have to aim at Zoanthropes and like Neurothropes at times. This one, you just like aim in their general direction, like shoot a fire fart at them, and that's all it really has to do. And it also can just build straight into its capacity variance. It just has like a super easy tree to build into. It doesn't even have to build into range at all. It is kind of strange, like the variance for this gun, like the fire rate variant, this thing is like the ultimate fart blaster. It just goes out, like just dumps out damage is the best way to put it. Super ammo inefficient though, because you have to bear in mind that a magazine capacity of 20 is going to lower the percentage gain of your auxiliary reload tremendously, which is why we take the magazine capacity variant of the Multi-Melta. So I really would stick with this one. You are simply not missing out on fire rate that much with things like heavy fire or executioner's fire, because like I said before, this one has no cooldown. It's just a 25% enabler for your damage. This will up your DPS dramatically, and you are finishing guys all the time in melee and even like Minoris at times. So it's just super valuable. Really pumps up your DPS, and overall I think Multi-Melta, when you're fighting Tyranids, it's just better, and it's just easier to pull off your damage, and that's really all you have to do as a Heavy. So that's my opinion on these two guns. I know that I talked about the heavy plasma a lot and the Multi-Melta a lot in the past 2 weeks, but for now, I do believe the Multi-Melta, for the reasons I've listed in this video, is simply slightly edging it out, especially versus Tyranids. Though in the trio game we do, I will take heavy plasma to chaos to like really find out if this gun can like outclear speed the Multi-Melta. But if you guys are still here in this video, thanks for watching. Hopefully you learned something. Maybe this helped you learn about like how to set up your Multi-Melta or heavy plasma incinerator and what perks are really good. And hopefully you know a little bit more about the armor in Space Marine 2, because armor restores are good. I'll make that clear. Armor restoration perks are just really good. That's why Vanguard's prestige perks here with launch restoration and restoration are so epic, because like this guy just gets free armor off of just doing his normal gameplay loop, which is amazing, keeps you alive. And 100% damage reduction versus all melee attacks is pretty epic when someone can one-shot you or like perma-stagger you. So thanks for watching, guys. If you have any questions or just have some thoughts on these two guns, which ones you prefer for like whether it be fun or like which ones you think are more powerful, let me know in the comments below. Either way, they're two of my favorite guns in this game because I like shooting gun go burr. And take it easy. See you later. Peace.